Hi, it's Abby from feeleyfibres, and today I'm going to talk about everything I purchased at WonderWool Wales, which was not the weekend just gone, which was bank holiday beginning of May, but the weekend before. And I've put together a little vlog of what I got up to with my friend Evelina. So I just wanted to talk through everything I bought and plans that I had for it. So let's get started. So the first thing that I wanted to say was everything that I bought was kind of planned, or at least I had a project in mind for. So I feel like I was, well, take it with a grain of salt, but I feel like I was kind of restrained in my purchases because I had an idea for everything, whereas previously I've just bought something and thought, oh, I'll find a project for it. So the first thing I bought was this lovely green merino, which doesn't have a band on it because it was from Wool Tops, which I believe the guy that has the Wool Tops stand only really does festivals, and he does sell online, but he usually has like these massive bargain bins where you can get these lovely skeins of wool, either undyed or dyed in a few colours for bargain price, hence the bargain bin. But I think this was £5 for 100 grams of DK in this lovely green. I wanted to find like the perfect green to make my boyfriend a beanie. I made him a hat when I first learnt to knit, so about a year and a half ago, and to be honest I don't really know what stitch I made it with. I followed just a random YouTube tutorial, and I remember at one point I was knitting the beanie inside out and the wrong way round, so I really don't know if it actually turned out how it was meant to, but I mean he likes it, and his only requirement was that it had a bobble on it, and it does fit, but I made it in like a 50-50 acrylic and wool content yarn, and I really like this colour green on him, so I said if I find the perfect green I'll make your hat. So that was my first purchase. My second purchase, this isn't in the order that I actually bought them, to be fair, but my second purchase, I said that I really wanted to make a beanie #1 after seeing multiple YouTubers on here talk about boucle yarn and their plans for beanie #1, and I really like that it has the boucle brim and then the rest of the hat's just in like a normal, say, merino yarn. So I wanted to find like the perfect boucle, and literally on one of the first stores we went to, along with Ekana, has a new yarn base, which is, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's basically this undyed teddy boucle type yarn, so quite like super bulky weight. I think it's 75 meters per 100 grams, so really bulky, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. But Evelina, rightly so, said, we've just got here, think about it, plus you might find something else that you like more. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, I should listen to you. And I'm kind of glad I did, although I'm still thinking about that along with a can of yarn that I might make a vest with in the future. But I found this lovely boucle. So this is just a bulky weight, not a super bulky weight, so I'd have to hold 2 strands of this double, but it is from the Chester Wool Company, and they had so many lovely like undyed and natural colours of yarns on their stall. I fell in love with everything, but this one I saw it on the table and I was instantly drawn to it, and it's called Loop de Loop Caramel. So I don't know if you can see, it's literally, it's the core is like this lovely caramel colour, and then some of the loops are also caramel, but it's also mixed with like an undyed alpaca. Yeah, I should have said it's 87% superfine alpaca and 13% Peruvian Pima cotton, which I'm guessing the Pima cotton is the core and then the alpaca is all wrapped around it, and you get 140 meters and 100 grams. And I think, well, yeah, it says on the skein, this skein was £13.95. I'm hoping this will be enough. I think I only needed one skein that was a 75 meter per 100 gram skein for the beanie number 1 for that brim. And obviously if I hold this double, I might have, well, I'd have a quick maths, 70 meters per 100 grams, so slightly less, but I think this will do the trick. And I can just really picture this as a beanie. Obviously not really beanie weather at the moment, we're coming into summer, and I also haven't found the colour that I want for the top part. I might have something in stash, but I feel like this is really special and it's so soft that I need to do it justice by finding like the perfect colour to go at the top. And I could play it safe and go with like a brown or an undyed, or I could push the boat out and get something really colourful, because I'm kind of embracing colours at the moment. She says wearing a black and white top. But yeah, that was, I think this might have been one of my favourite purchases of the whole weekend. We did end up going Saturday and Sunday, and we stayed overnight, so you'll see that in the little mini vlog at the end. I wasn't very good at talking to the camera and keeping you updated along the way. I did a bit before leaving and when we first got there, but the rest of the time it's just a nice relaxing videos and stuff, I guess. So moving on, I then one of the things I really wanted to do on the Sunday was find a stand that had some mystery skeins. So I love a bit of a mystery and taking a gamble, and I actually bought a mystery skein from this person when I went to a Southern Wool show with Evelina back in September, and it's Dina's Home of Crafts. And I got the skein I got last time was a fingering mystery, and I loved it. It's like white with speckles of blue, and I thought I've got loads of single 100 gram hand dyed skeins of fingering weight, so I don't really need any more. I always think, oh, I'll get some and then make socks, but how many socks do I need, and how many socks are actually made? Not enough to justify another one. So I did say to Evelina that I don't have any DK weight socks, so that I thought, well, there was one skein, mystery skein of DK weight left, so I got that one. You'll see me unwrapping it in the little vlog, and it was this gorgeous orange, which is called Phoenix Has Risen, from Dina's Home of Crafts, and it's a DK weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's this lovely orange with speckles of dark orange and black and brown, and then there's, so it's, yeah, it goes all the way from like pops of yellow all the way to like deep oranges, and I'm really happy with this. The mystery skein was £10 and the original price was £18, so I actually saved myself £8. So girl maths, half of it was free basically. We'll just say that. Alright, so next, there's a bit of a story behind this one. So again, when we went to Southern Wool show in September, there was this stand called Wensleydale Long Wool, and I absolutely fell in love with their yellow colour on their base, and I was thinking about it for months and months and months. I kept going onto their website, almost going to order it and then not, and I thought, well, they're probably going to be at WonderWool, which they were, luckily, and I really want to make the tulip loop sweater now that I've made the V-neck vest, the tulip loop vest, and I wear it so much. I really wanted to make like a pinky purpley colour in the tulip loop sweater, and I needed an Aran weight, well, it's like worsted to Aran weight, so I used Knitting for Olive heavy merino for my vest, so I was looking for a worsted or an Aran weight, and I found this lovely purpley pink at Wensleydale Long Wool in the colour Wild Thyme. So it is Aran weight and it's 100 grams, 160 meters. I got a jumpable quantity obviously, and it is this lovely Wensleydale Long Wool sheep yarn. It just says 100% pure new wool on the band, but yeah, so it was Wensleydale sheep produced the finest and most valuable luster long wool in the world, apparently, and it's spun in Yorkshire. Another thing about this yarn, when we went to Whitby over Christmas, the Propagancy there, the little shop, actually sold the Wensleydale long wool but didn't have the right quantities that I needed for a jumper. So again, I just felt like this yarn has been chasing me the whole time, and I've finally got it, and it's so lovely. I'm really looking forward to having a jumper in this, but again, I'm not. This feels quite like a cool wool. I feel like I could get away with wearing it through the spring, coming into the summer maybe, but as the sun's shining at the moment, I feel like I'm more inclined to cast on tops than jumpers. So I'm hoping to cast on with this at some point, but I'm not quite sure when yet. And then, right, next, what did I get? I feel like there's a story with everything that I pick up. So again, at Southern Wool Show, there's this man who sells 100% British wool for ridiculously cheap prices. Doesn't have a name on his stall. We just call him the wool guy. That's his nickname that we call him. And I bought this really lovely green 250, 300 gram hank of yarn that I'm going to make a vest with. And Evelina was buying some yarn to make an April cardigan, which she bought 3 250 gram hanks in this lovely like muted olive colour, and there was a deal that it was like 1 for £12 or 5 for £40. So I was like, well, why don't I get 2, because I'd found a colour I really liked, and you get 3 and then we can get the deal. So I got this lovely buttery yellow colour, which is a colour I'm currently obsessed with, which I think a lot of people are, but especially since I made my Lakes pullover by Ozetta, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I didn't think yellow was the right colour I'd be able to wear, but yeah, this buttery yellow colour is, oh, it's divine. And yeah, like I said, this is just a DK weight British wool. There's 2 hanks, well, 2 skeins, hanks, whatever you want to call them, in here that I twisted together, because he displays them just like as a long loop, and I just twisted it up for easy carrying and to stop it getting tangled when we were there. And yeah, I'm going to make just a neutral cardigan with it. I haven't decided whether I'm going to make the picnic cardigan by Veronica Lingberg, which has recently been released, although I do have plans for another one of those in blue. Or I could make the April cardigan, like, well, copying Evelina basically with their plans with her wool that she got from him. But I feel like this is it just screams spring and summer, and I feel like it would be great in a cardigan. And it doesn't feel like a really warm wool. Like, it might just be because I stored it in a cool cupboard that all the wool feels cool. I mean, not everything feels cool, but this one especially feels quite cool. So I feel like it hopefully would be good going into summer and in the chilly evenings. So yeah, very excited for this one as well. I'm more inclined to cast on a cardigan at the moment than I am a jumper, so that may be how I get around the itch to cast on something with sleeves. So yeah, cardigan I think is next on my radar. And then next, I said, well, Evelina and I both said we don't really want to buy any hand-dyed yarn when we're here. Not that I got anything against it. I have a lot of hand-dyed yarn. It's more the fact that I have too much and I always just buy one skein, because I think, oh, it's quite a lot of money obviously going into one skein. So I just buy one here, one there to support the local dyers. But then I end up with loads of single skeins that I don't know what to do with. So I said I don't really want to buy any hand-dyed yarn, but if I do, I want to buy 2 skeins, and I'll make a mini mock neck with it by Jessie Made. And well, yeah, my intentions didn't last very long, because I found this gorgeous skein by Siobhan Crafts, and it's in the colour Falling Leaves in the sock base, and it's 100 grams, 400 meters, and it's 85% superwash Polworth, 15% nylon, and it feels amazing. And it's this lovely green, and there's like variations of greens. So there's like a darker green, a lighter green, and then all the way through there's like this white with speckles on it that look like falling leaves. There's like blue, browns, there is a speck of blue, that's why I got distracted. Browns, greens, and yellows and oranges, and a couple of reds all the way through. I did actually swatch with this morning, although my swatch isn't dry yet, so I might insert just a little photo so you can see. But yeah, this I really want as a top. I feel like a lot of people have said on here before, especially like Florence from Handmade by Florence has said that in the UK the summers don't really get that hot, so we can still wear merino even coming into the summer. So yeah, that's the plan for that. And then this base is absolutely gorgeous. The Polworth is one of my favourite fibres to work with. Just a quick break. Okay, sorry, I just had to move my phone because I could see the reflection of the sun closely moving towards the camera, which if you saw my last video kind of ruined the quality of my video. So I just wanted to move that to make sure that the quality is not rubbish this time. So moving on, my penultimate, I think that means one before last, penultimate yarn purchase was another hand dyed quantity of yarn to make a top of some sorts, probably a mini mock net being realistic, or I could make another ivy top because I think it would be gorgeous in this colour, the ivy top by Iris of Iris Makes. And I kind of couldn't leave this behind, so I've been really into audiobooks recently, and I think like a lot of the world, or a lot of the girls mainly, I've been obsessed with Fourth Wing and the Fourth Wing series. So I'm currently halfway through the second book, I think, and there was a yarn dye there called the Crafty Bird that had done a whole collection based on the Fourth Wing characters and things in Fourth Wing, and I saw this colour and I was like, that is gorgeous, and I held it up and Evelina said it actually looks really nice on you. And I thought I'd really like to buy something from this collection as it's Fourth Wing inspired, and I almost bought something from a yarn dyer in America that has done a Fourth Wing collection. I can't actually remember who it was, but by the time I'd factored in like shipping costs and everything, it was ridiculous. So this was a few months back and I decided not to do that. But yeah, it was kind of fate or coincidence, whatever you'd like to call it, that the Crafty Bird had done her own collection based on Fourth Wing, and I had a really good chat with her about all the colourways and how she developed them. So this is the colour I got, and it's called Brown Scorpion Tail, and it's like a burgundy brown colour, which I don't know if it looks as good in this lighting, but I absolutely love it. It's, yeah, it's everything I could want really in a hand-dyed yarn skein. I quite like a tonal in hand-dyed yarn, and this is on the Cozy 4-ply base, which is just 100% superwash merino, and it's 100 grams, 400 meters. It's quite a high twist yarn, which, to be honest, I don't really know what difference a high twist would give you versus a normal twist. I'm guessing maybe a bit more durability, but there's no nylon in this, so I feel like it would make a really good top. There was also another base that I was hesitating between, which had some silk content in it, but in this base especially, the others didn't seem as badly as affected, but in this base especially, I felt like the silk didn't take the dye as well as the merino in that base. So I went for, yeah, just the normal superwash merino base, and very happy with this purchase. I feel like if I don't cast on with the Siobhan Crafts yarn for my mini mock neck. I might just have to cast on one in this colour instead, but stay tuned. And then the last yarn I bought was kind of an impulse purchase, but also kind of meditated. So on the Saturday we went obviously around all the booths, and we said, like, if there's any things we're not quite sure on, we'll sleep on them and we'll come back tomorrow, and if they're not there, it wasn't meant to be, but if they were, then maybe we could get them. So in Hall C, I believe it was, which is where like the stage and the fashion, like the sheep walk was, there was a lovely lady who was doing like these plant dye or natural dye boxes and jars, where basically she did these kits, and it was like the big one was like a jar, a skein of yarn that had some, well, like a special skein of yarn undyed, and then some natural dye. And you basically, the selling point that sold me was like, you put it in the jar, add some water, put the dye in, leave it somewhere not in direct sunlight for a few months, and then you'll have your own naturally dyed yarn. And I just thought that was genius, because you don't have to faff around with like the pans and everything that normal dyers have to do, because I feel like that's quite an investment, and realistically I'm not going to be dyeing yarn on a big scale, but I do like getting into the crafts that are also associated with knitting. Like, I do some spinning, and I've obviously done some crochet, and yarn dyeing's always kind of been on my radar, especially since going to the craft socials at String, which is the home of Vicky Brown Designs. She's one of my favourite dyers, and she's literally 5 minutes down the road. So yeah, she said that we could maybe have a go at dyeing, but I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was for me, basically, and I thought, well, I could just get one of these kits, try it at home, see how it turns out, and go from there. And basically the colourway that I wanted to buy, so there was 3 colourways. The colourway I wanted to buy, there weren't any more of the medium-sized kits, I think it was. So I basically thought, well, I can buy the jar at somewhere like Home Sense. I just need an undyed skein of yarn, and then I can buy the little box which had the dye in. So that is this. I've taken the label off because it fell off, but this will tell us, yeah, Gorgeous Yarns is the dyer, and in this box you basically get the instructions, and I got the winter solar kit, so it produces this lovely blue, white and blue, well, obviously undyed, and speckles of blue. This is my natural dye, and it's made from, I should have probably looked a bit more at this before. It's made from Saxon, well, the colour's called Saxon Blue, and I also get some gloves in here. I'm not entirely sure what the dye is made from. It just says sorry, if you know me, I'm very chaotic and very clumsy, so yeah, that's on brand for me. But yeah, it's diluted Saxon Blue, and it says Saxon Blue does not need a mordant, and it's a very strong dye. But I will put it on screen if I find any more information about it. Let me pick up my mess. So that was all that I got in the box, but there was also a seller there that sold lots of undyed yarns in Hall C, and at first we thought she only sold wholesale, and which is great. We thought, oh, this might be where like a lot of the bases come from, which entirely possible. But I asked, like, oh, do you sell individually as well and online? And she said she did. So I spent about 5 minutes looking through all the bases, and the woman at the natural dye booth, Gorgeous Yarns, said that if you're looking for sock yarn with nylon, you don't want it to have any more than 20% nylon, I think she said, because the dye won't take as well. So that was one of my requirements. And so from Yarn Undyed, which is the company that just had like a whole wall full of undyed yarn, it was gorgeous. This is the Murney 4H, which is 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. It's just a standard 400 meters per 100 grams, and it's a fingering or sock weight yarn, relatively high twist. Not really much more to say about this. It feels lovely, and there are multiple bases there that I can see myself making a jumper in, even in just the undyed colour. So I feel like I will be purchasing from her in the future. So that's it for all my yarny purchases. I have a few like related things as well. So the first one is someone who I've purchased from before. This is what I bought for before. It's a moth box that attracts moths, well, that traps the moths, basically, the male moths. Thankfully it's still empty, so that's good. That just lives in my yarn stash. And then, so she's called Total Wardrobe Care, and these are just cedarwood blocks that you can hang up in your wardrobe. You spray with the repellent stuff and then put them either in your wardrobe or your yarn stash. The box came with 6, I believe, and I have one living in the box of yarn that I got from WonderWool and Scotland, and then one in here, just literally in there, that I've just placed in there, and one in my wardrobe with all my knits. And I mean, touch wood, I don't want to speak too quickly, but I have yet to have a problem with moths, but I'm taking all the relevant precautions just in case, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they work. I then bought some lovely ceramic, polymer clay buttons from Jo Hunter, who was just a lovely lady that sold polymer clay jewellery and buttons. And they've got little leaf imprints, and hopefully they'll be the perfect size for my pool cardigan, which I'm making in red. And I think they'll look lovely with it. So that was the plan for these. And yeah, it just says that they're handcrafted polymer clay buttons. They can be washed at 30 degrees in the washing machine, but I don't put any of my hand knits in the washing machine, and to store out of direct sunlight. But I thought these were perfect because they're plain but also have a bit of intrigue to them with the texture, and they're perfect basically for what I was looking for. And then, so last 2 purchases, I should say, I find myself always looking for my 4.5mm symphony needles. I seem to always use them for some reason. So I got another pair because I lost my others for a while. Since I got back, I found them, but I got another pair just because I use them so much. So yeah, that's just the plain Knit Pro symphony needles, and I got those from Knitting for Fun. And then also from Knitting for Fun, I got some Lantern Moon needles to try out before I invest in a new set. So there's nothing wrong with my symphony needles. I don't know, I feel like they've served me really well, but I'm kind of looking at other options, and I'm not a big fan of metal needles, so ChiaoGoo isn't really calling me that much. But I use the Lantern Moon cords already on my Knit Pro needles, the swivel cords, and they've been a game changer, because even the Knit Pro swivel cords, even when I tighten them properly and everything, they tend to come loose. And I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but when you're knitting and your knitting gets caught in like the little join between the needle and the end of the cable, it's so frustrating. And I've never had that with the Lantern Moon cables. So I thought, well, I've got the cables, why don't I try a pair of the needles to see how I like them before investing in a set of them. And I swatched with them this morning with my Siobhan Crafts yarn, and to be honest, I do really like them. They're a lot grippier than my symphony needles, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought they would be a bit less grippy, but I guess it makes sense because they're also wood. I think they're cedar wood. Might correct myself on screen if I'm wrong. But yeah, they're really, really nice. Like, that I can tell a difference between these and the symphonies, whereas Evelina was saying that she can't tell a difference between a big difference between the symphonies and the liquor needles that she uses. So she has both, and she said she can't really see a difference, but these definitely feel a lot lighter, and yeah, they just have a bit more grip, and well, they're gorgeous. And it's really satisfying that they have the size of the needle on the shaft as well as the tip of, as well as the, is it the tip or the end of the needle? So it's like on the brass bit but also on the needle, because I don't know if it's just me, but on all my symphonies, or almost all my symphonies, the size of the needles rubbed off so much that I can't see it anymore, so I have to put them back in my needle case exactly in the spots they were, or I won't be able to tell what size they are. I also have a needle gauge thing, but I don't know if it's very accurate. I always kind of guesstimate which size it is. So yeah, that's everything I had to talk about from WonderWool that weekend. What was I working on while we were there? I was knitting on my boyfriend's socks, which I have actually finished now. They actually look like bananas. And I think I thought, yeah, I brought a top with me as well, but I said to myself that I need to really focus on his socks because I cast them on in November, and he kept asking me when they'd be done. And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of ribbing, and the pattern he chose was all over 2x2 rib, so yeah, safe to say I wasn't very motivated by them. But to be honest, I picked them up at the weekend of the WonderWool weekend, and I did almost a whole sock while we were there, and we didn't even do that much knitting, so yeah, they flew by. I think because it was one of the only things I had with me, I was more inclined to work on it. But yeah, that's everything I had to say. I also just remembered there are 2 more things that I bought, so I need to go and get them. Give me 2 seconds. Right, I'm back. If I seem further back, that's because I am. The sun moved again, so I just thought I'd adjust the camera just to make sure we're all good till the end. So both of these purchases are from the same vendor, and that was Phoenix Pottery, who don't have an Instagram, but they have a website. And I saw this, and basically I've just started sewing. I've made a couple of project bags, made some trousers this weekend that I don't talk about because they a bit catastrophic. They were very, very big. Not really sure what went wrong, but I kept losing my pins, so I needed some sort of pin cushion that I was looking for while we were there, but I didn't really find one that I loved. So when I saw this, which is a magnetic pin holder that's a sheep, I mean, it currently has my stitch markers on, but I mean, it's pretty good. Like, they're still hanging on there. It's yeah, a little sheep dish, and all made by hand, so they're absolutely gorgeous. They had loads of different colours, but this one was my favourite, and he just looks a bit gawky. So that was one of my purchases from Phoenix Pottery, and the other one was kind of like I'm very particular with my mugs, and they have to like fit my hand a certain way. So like I picked up all of their mugs to see which one I liked the most, and this one fit the bill. And it just so happened that it says Yarn Chicken on it, and I am constantly playing Yarn Chicken with my projects, and I kind of lost Yarn Chicken with the shawl that I'm working on right now, just because I was 2 rows short of the contrast colour, so I just stopped it a bit early, which is fine, luckily. But yeah, I'm constantly playing Yarn Chicken, not necessarily winning, and this mug, I just fell in love with it. I love that like it's slightly curved out at the lip, and the inside is my favourite colour, green. And it's like this pearlescent green that reflects in the sun, and yeah, this had to come home with me. I've used it so much since. Yeah, really in love with it, and it's got the Phoenix Pottery little stamp on the bottom. So that is, now I promise, that is everything I bought from WonderWool Wales last weekend. And yeah, we had a great time. It was lovely catching up with a lot of vendors, and some of them who I consider my friends, like James from James Makes Yarn. He came to one of our crafty cinema nights that we did. We did one in October last year in Gloucester, and we're looking to do one again soon, so keep an eye out for that. And him and his husband Matt were obviously vending at WonderWool, and it was just really nice to catch up with them and have a chat and talk about where they were staying and what they were having for dinner, and just normal stuff really. And James he's so lovely. I think he's one of my favourite people in the yarn community. It's just so easy to get along with, so lovely, always has interesting stuff to say, and his yarn is gorgeous. So I mean, what more could you want? And Matt is absolutely lovely. And yeah, so they both came to the crafty cinema night, so I feel like we've seen them quite a few times. We saw them at Southern Wool and I bought some yarn there, so it was really nice catching up with them. Then we also caught up with Jo from Second City Yarns, who both Evelina and myself have bought jumper quantities from, of her lovely base. I can't remember what the composition is off the top of my head. Oh, I do actually have a skein. I had one leftover skein. So this is Hard Won at Dawn, in this lovely yellow, which is the yellow that I made my Lakes pullover in, and it's 100% British non-superwash Kent Romney double knit. Yeah, and I had it in this lovely yellow, and Evelina had bought some in like a lilac-y pastel colour, and we were both wearing our jumpers on the Sunday, and we popped by to see Jo and said, "Look, we're wearing our jumpers," and she took a photo of us and put us on her Instagram, and it was just really nice talking about how much we love the yarn and seeing what other colours on her absolutely gorgeous wool. I don't know if you've ever seen her at a show, but Jo has this amazing colour wool of all the colour ways that she dyes that are all inspired by bus stops in Birmingham, I believe, which is where she lives. And honestly, I don't think anyone could not find one colour that they would absolutely fall in love with. She just caters for so many different so many different choices, or likes and dislikes of colour. It's just, yeah, she's great. And then the third person that we've met previously and really gotten well with was the lady from Tina and Floyd, who basically inspired me to start spinning, because when we went to Yarningham in, I think it was May or June last year, we saw her and she taught me how to use a Turkish spindle, and I actually bought a Turkish spindle from her and started spinning, and I've since bought my own spinning wheel. So I basically, yeah, caught up with her and said, like, thank you for getting me into spinning. I've like bought my own spinning wheel, started spinning, and it's all thanks to you. And that was just a really lovely, like, to catch up with her. And then, I mean, the other thing I wanted to touch on was the community at WonderWool. I feel like a lot of people have talked about it, but it's not the same until you experience it. I feel like a lot of fibre festivals are like this. It's just fibre folk in general. They're just so lovely. Like, Evelina and I were walking around looking for the perfect vest pattern, which would be like a feral, like vintagey style vest that we wanted to make, and we had different ideas in mind. We both found what we were looking for, but every time we're like, oh, look at this, oh, this is gorgeous, oh, look at this, and then someone behind would be like, oh yeah, I've been looking at this too, it's so pretty, isn't it? And you'd just have like these 5-minute conversations with total strangers enthusing about how much we loved a pattern or yarn, or it was just like so lovely. And I feel like fibre arts are quite an individual hobby generally, because it's something you do like sat on the sofa. But when everyone comes together at like fibre festivals like this, it's just, you really appreciate how lovely the community is. And it was just such a great experience, and I can't wait to go back next year. So thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and giving me a like. Let me know if you were going to WonderWool, or if you plan to go in the future, or if you've been previously, and which one of my purchases was your favourite. I know there's a lot to choose from. So, okay, bye! Good morning, it's WonderWool weekend and I'm about to leave to go to Evelina's and then we're going to drive to Wales. I just thought I'd check in and start off this vlog. I hope it's interesting and I hope I actually get some decent footage, because I always start off doing these videos and then forget to film. I thought I'd also show you what I'm wearing, so ignore the mess and the cats. We're having a big sort out and the cats are going crazy because it's 7:45 and we're never normally up this early. So I'm wearing my tulip loop vest by Other Loops that I made in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the colour Marzipan. I used 6 balls I think and I made the size 3. I finished it maybe 2 weeks ago and I've been wearing it basically just with a long sleeve white t-shirt ever since. I didn't think I'd need a vest in my wardrobe and I didn't think I'd wear one, but it's actually been really nice as like a transitional piece, so I understand why people rave about them. Yeah, so I'm just going to put my shoes on and go, and then when I'm with Evelina we're going to have breakfast and then might do a little like what's in our bag going to WonderWool. I mean, there's not much in my bag, I've got stuff in it but not anything but very exciting. But yeah, I'll catch up with you a bit later. We've arrived, very excited. Evelina's a bit camera shy, so that's okay. We've just been to the toilet and now we're walking to the thing. Yeah, I have a big bag, 2 extra bags. Hopefully we don't buy too much. Keep you updated. Gonna make such a mess. It looks orange. Ooh. It's actually really nice. DK softs incoming.
another one of our lovely volunteers here. This is Abby, and Abby is modelling for Julian Road. She is modelling the mid-street waistcoat, and it is sewn with a Shetland wool tartan tweed from Yorkshire, and it's in a beautiful blue and tan colour. And the waistcoat is available from Julian Road stand.